This program is for informational and educational purposes only. This program is not a solicitation or recommendation for any investment or security. Investments or securities mentioned in this show may or may not be owned by NEPSIS Advisor Services. NEPSIS Advisor Services is an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Welcome to Journeys with Joni. My name's Joni Rametta, and I'm here with my co-host, Mark Clark. Mark, how are you?
I'm awesome, Joni. Good morning. I'm thankful, Joni. That's what I'm here to say today.
Oh, isn't that cute?
I know. Month
of November, we're kicking it off. Our theme this month is going to be giving, probably because we both thought about, it is Thanksgiving, and, we are all Americans, and we all have a lot to be thankful for.
Yes, we do.
We really do.
Yes, we do. And I needed to get myself out of the doghouse for all the spooktacular stuff I shared last week.
Oh, my goodness. I was really hoping you weren't going to bring that up.
Halloween's over. Now we're looking forward to, other than we don't get the fall leaves down here, this is probably one of my favorite times of year coming into the holidays. Mm-hmm. And it's because we have so much to be thankful for when we look at our families and we look at the blessings that we share. And as we come into this time of year, I'm looking forward to spending the month around a theme of giving as we share with each other every week here on the radio. It's a lot of fun. I love this. Just love this time of year.
It is a fun time of year. The weather's getting a little bit cooler here in Florida. Yeah, it's not 90 degrees anymore, hopefully. Christmas is around the corner, although it's been in the stores for months. It's just, I don't know. I think with the change of seasons, it's sort of like October comes around, November. By November, we all have a little bit more pep in our step, so to speak.
Yeah. I
know I feel a little bit different. It just, clocks change and, you get up earlier and it's not so hard to get up. And I don't know, it's just a completely different feeling towards the fall and the winter and the holidays. Because I think the holidays, hopefully everybody likes the holidays, but the holidays sort of bring together family and friends and
sure do.
Opportunities that, we're all looking for. And I think one of the things we all, understand is that, we've talked several times about the buckets of things that we have and the opportunities we have with, the finite amount of dollars that we're going to earn. And I can choose to put some money in the giving bucket. But a lot of times, sometimes that's one of the harder buckets to do because we're all thinking about, I have to pay my taxes, I have to do all these other things too. But because of really good planning and thinking about things ahead of time, you can actually start the giving now. You don't have to wait to give once you're, leaving this earth. And, we don't want you to give it through your will and through, contributions at your death. You want to start giving it now.
Right.
Isn't it much better to see, giving something to somebody and seeing the difference that you potentially can make in somebody else's life?
Well, speaking of giving, we're going to practice what we're preaching.
We are.
And we're giving something away this week. And we would like to invite you to get a free copy of an awesome little book. This is one of those, let me see how many pages are here. I want to say there's like 90 some or maybe 120 pages, but it's a short little book. You can,
but it's only like the half size of a book.
It's about the size of my hand. It's called The Treasure Principle by Randy Alcorn. And this is an excerpt type of book, or it's a rewrite of Money, Possessions, and Eternity, written by Randy Alcorn. And this is a great read. And it's one of those where pass it on, where you can read it and take the biblical principles out of here of giving. And, there are just, some chapters in here that you look at the title, Compounding Joy, An Eye on Eternity, Roadblocks to Giving. What are those stumbling things that we have in front of us that keep us from giving? But we're going to give this book away. If you jump on our website, and our website is
www.journeyswithjoni, that's JONI.com.
If you'll jump on there, put your information in, we'll send you, no string attached, we'll send you a free copy of this book, The Treasure Principle. And it's just an awesome little book. I've read it multiple times, and I think you'll find it an interesting gift. And, it's one of those like I just said, it's something you can give away, pay it forward type of thing. It's a book that will help take you down a journey, or through a journey, if you will, not just Journeys with Joni, but a journey on giving, and talking about some of the things that we are going to talk about over the course of the month of November.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a thing. I know this is a financial show, but since we're talking about Thanksgiving, I want to talk about food for some reason. The Thanksgiving dinner table, I can see the turkey and I can see the things. Putting a turkey on the green egg, smoke a turkey. Well, you got to do one of those, and then you deep fry another turkey. It's just a lot to be thankful for when you just flat pig out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. It's like you do that once or twice a year because that's all we can afford to do, right?
Right. And the interesting, yeah, that's true.
I mean, then we're taking naps and watching football.
Well, the interesting thing about that is, if you had to do that all alone, that would be tough. So, folks, this is a great opportunity for you to find folks that don't have the family, or maybe moved here. Invite them to dinner and do something a little special. But the joy of Thanksgiving dinner, the joy of giving thanks, is always because of other people involved in our lives, and I think that's very important. So a lot of neat things we're going to talk about here today about around giving. But get on our website, take advantage of this free book we're giving.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Yeah, it really is. It's
it's a book you can read and then pass along. I mean, if you're a grandparent, you can pass it along to your grandchildren too.
Yes.
I don't think you can start too young trying to encourage your children to give.
No. And we've got some guests coming up this month that are going to be really impactful and give you an opportunity to really think about the impact that you can make on your community, your family. And this is why we're here. I mentioned last week, we talked about the how and the why. It's very easy how to give money away. It's easy to, hand somebody $5 or buy them lunch or put money in the offering plate at church. But the why, what's the deeper reason and the deeper cause that you have to be a cheerful or compelling giver or giving with purpose? And we're going to talk about those things.
Well, and, it's really important that when we do things and we feel better as well. So this isn't just about giving to make somebody else feel better. It's also about, for everything that you do to give, you get something back.
Right.
And I know in a lot of the volunteer stuff that you and I do, we do it because we love to do it, and we're making an impact, but we're also changing us at the same time.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Journeys with Joni, JONI.com is where you can register to receive a copy of the Treasure Principle book. You can send us an email. We do have a CPA coming up this month, and we'd love some questions to ask. See if somebody can stump him.
Yeah, giving questions.
Yeah, giving questions. Absolutely.
Tax giving questions are awesome.
Yeah.
Because if you're thinking it, so is somebody else.
Absolutely. How can you do something that you want to do or you've been thinking about it? Ask the question. We'll get you the answer. We're located at 6230 University Parkway, Suite 305. And you can reach us at 941-361-1484. Journeys with Joni. We'll be right back.
Do you know what you own and why you own it? Join us for our next workshop to learn about investing with clarity by calling 941-361-1484 to reserve your seat today. Joni and Mark look forward to discussing the philosophy, strategy, flexibility, and transparency, the 4 pillars of investing, with NEPSIS Advisor Services. Call today, 941-361-1484. That's 941-361-1484.
Welcome back to Journeys with Joni. Mark and I were talking just before the break about the Treasure Principle, the book that we're giving away this month. You need to register at Journeys with Joni. That's JONI.com in order to receive your copy of the book. It's 90 some odd pages, you said, and it's probably the size of a male hand. It's a little bit bigger than mine. Easy read, something that you can read yourself, and then we would encourage you to pass it on to somebody else in your family, or somebody else, a friend that that perhaps would benefit by it. But, as we talk to our clients about, financial planning and decision making, it really doesn't matter how much money that you make. We all struggle. We struggle with fear and frustrations, and sometimes we even have guilt in our financial lives. I'm making more money than somebody else, or I don't know what to do with what I have. Those are all things that, we all experience at some point or another. But, those who are most free from those emotions in their financial decision making are usually those who are the most generous. So why would that be? Why are generosity and financial freedom tied together? Probably because it's linked to that treasure principle, which is where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So if your heart is in hoarding all your money and things like that, that's what you're going to do, and that's what your life's going to look like. But, if you're one of those people that wants to give and do those kind of things, look at your checkbook and see, my heart says I'm a giver. Go pull your checkbook from last month or your checkbook statement. Where did you give during the month last month? Did you give during the month last month? Because you know what? A lot of times we have intent, and intent counts, but it doesn't count for giving unless you actually give.
No, you're absolutely correct.
So my heart says this is what I want to do, but where is my action showing? And the only way to do that is to actually sit down and look at your checkbook or look at wherever you're spending from, your credit card bill. If you do everything, on credit cards kind of stuff.
Debit card, whatever.
Debit cards, not credit cards. We don't want you in debt. But, where are you spending your money? Where is that money going? And are you doing those things that you think you're doing and that you intend to do?
This little book that we're giving away, Treasure Principle by Randy Alcorn, get on the website, order your copy. One of the Treasure Principle keys is my heart always goes where I put God's money. Watch what happens when you reallocate your money from temporal things to eternal things. That's a challenge. Mm-hmm. It's a big challenge.
Oh, yeah.
And, the first key is God owns everything. I'm his money manager. So you're the steward. The definition of a steward is managing things you don't own. And when you think about that, let it kind of sink in, we're just passing through. I get some others we're going to read throughout there's a couple more in here that's really, really cool. But as we come into this time of year of giving and giving thanks for what we have, it's backing up and taking an inventory and kind of reflecting back on what we have an opportunity to do. And again, if you plan, if you're a manager, if you're a good steward, and this is what we were talking about here, if you have intent with the things that you want to do, you're right. We all have great and good intentions, but if we don't take action on those intentions, then we're going to continue to have the same results or same lack of giving or lack of impact, when we know down deep inside the impact that we want to have is greater than what we're doing at the current moment.
Well, and I think, too, giving changes our perspective.
Sure, it does.
If you're a giver, you have a different perspective than people who don't give.
Yes, you do.
You do. And you have a different heart. Your heart feels a little bit different, too. But, it also reminds us that, I'm just a little person in a big world. I'm just one person. But I can have an impact.
You can.
And I can give something to somebody else and feel good about it. And it has to do with your heart and your intent needs to be the right place too, I think.
Right.
You don't give because I want the big tax deduction, although that may be a byproduct of giving. Because I do give and I do take that deduction on my taxes. It is allowed. Right. But that's not why I give. It's a benefit of why I give, but it's not the reason that I give.
Right. And have you had an opportunity, and this is the planning that we do. This is the heart of what Joni and I do with the people that we work with, is focusing on the why. And I've talked about that a couple times last week and again this week. It's not the how. The how, the ticky-tack tax impact or putting the money in the plate or writing a check, that's the how. But it's the why. Mm-hmm. It's the why. It's the deeper reason of the why. It's an interesting topic because this is the only area that God ever says, test me. This is it. This is it. There's no other area anywhere where he says, test me. And it's in the area of giving. And you just can't outgive God, period. So it's an opportunity that we have, that we come into this time of year of being thankful, but also being thankful that we have the ability, big or small, to make an impact in others. And that's truly where you get that. I think and most people, I take you to this moment, it's Thanksgiving Day, the turkey, I had a cousin that just insisted you cannot cut that turkey until after we've said thanks and given thanks and it's on the table. Whether you slice the turkey in the kitchen and put it sliced on the table or it's sitting there, that moment that we all have, that we reflect quickly and we go, this is what it's all about. all the hard work, all of the effort, all of the toil and the rough stuff that we go through. And we look at the people sitting around us, we go, this is why we do what we do. As you think about that moment and you say, I want to do more, I want to have a bigger and better impact, how can I be the leader to the people that are sitting around my table and have an opportunity to help them have a greater impact as well?
Yeah, because we're all examples. I mean, you're an example to not only your children, but you're an example to your neighbor and your coworker. And you can be an example to your financial advisors, too.
Absolutely.
Your attorneys and everything else. I mean,
that's right.
Impact is impact. So, if you're giving a little and you're causing other people to give because of that, you're giving a lot.
Right.
So, it's not that we're asking everybody to give hugely. Just give what you can give what your heart says you should give back what you're supposed to give back.
Yeah, if you want to come in and sit down with us, we have an opportunity. We have some tools. We can get some questions answered, make sure that you're being a good steward to make sure you can retire and your money will last throughout your retirement. But you have an opportunity to look at the numbers from a what if standpoint. What kind of impact can I have? And we can do this in 10 or 15 minutes if you just come by the office. How do they get to us?
You can get to us at Journeys with Joni. That's JONI.com. That's where you'll register to get the book, The Treasure Principle.
It's a freebie.
It's a freebie. You can give us a call at 941-361-1484. And we're located at the corner of University Parkway and I-75 near the new University Town Center. Go ahead.
I'm not.
Fight the traffic. We'd love to see you, though. Give us a call at 361-1484. Journeys with Joni. We'll be right back.
Do you know what you own and why you own it? Join us for our next workshop to learn about investing with clarity by calling 941-361-1484 to reserve your seat today. Joni and Mark look forward to discussing the philosophy, strategy, flexibility, and transparency, the 4 pillars of investing, with NEPSIS Advisor Services. Call today, 941-361-1484. That's 941-361-1484.
Welcome back to Journeys with Joni. Mark and I were talking just before the break about registering at www.journeyswithjoni.com to get a copy of The Treasure Principle by Randy Alcorn.
Great book.
It is a good book.
Great book.
Read us another quote from in there, because I know you've got another one in there, and I've read several of them. There's so many of them. I mean, we could sit here and read it. We could actually read the book to everybody, but that wouldn't be very good use of time.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
But the next one is this is the Treasure Principle Keys. Heaven, not earth, is my home. In Hebrews 11:16 says we are citizens of a better country, a heavenly one. So as you think about that as it pertains to money, you've got to pay it. I'm getting into the book. You've got, I want you to read the book. It's a great book. But you've got to invest in things that are eternal. And, that takes me to another principle or key here. And it says, giving is the only antidote for materialism. Now, having good, nice things, that's all cool. And that's what you do with them, and it's what your heart is. So, and that's, by the way, this book is not saying you need to give it all away and
absolutely
live in a
not.
tent.
No.
Or live in a van down by the river. That's not for those of you from the 80s, you get what I'm saying there. But giving is a joyful surrender to a greater person and a greater agenda. It dethrones me and exalts him, capital H. So as you think about the principles of giving, it's not just what you do, but it's about what you're doing with those around you and causing the impact.
Right.
And, we've all seen there's really cool things that happen in life. I'm not going to share. I got a couple personal ones where I've seen people give and knowing what they gave from. And by the way, I'm not talking about money.
It doesn't have to be money. Absolutely not. I mean, we are a financial show, so we are sort of talking about money. And I think in a lot of cases, you can give a little bit of money to help do something, but you can also be giving of your time and your talents, because we all have talents. So if you have a talent that you can share with other people and you can use that to help others, you should be doing that as well.
Right. The giving experience that I witnessed was a person giving away a material object that was something that was very, very important to them, but realized that somebody sitting, and it was a stranger that they gave it to, but somebody sitting in their vicinity was less fortunate than what they were, and took an opportunity to say, I'm going to bless this person, and then I'm going to work real hard there's somebody else that's sitting next to him that also would like a blessing. And to watch that unfold, knowing the condition of the heart of the giver was awesome for me. And to watch that unfold was just powerful. And that's really what, as we look at the month of November, we look at the things we're going to talk about, this is really about the why, the why we're here. And, this takes us to one last thing that I'll share from the book. And if you want more from the book, we will give you a free copy, journeyswithjoni.com. And you can jump in there, put your name and info in, and we'll send you a book. It's kind of hard to send it to you if you don't give us your information.
That's true.
So we're not going to sell your name or information or hound you and all that good stuff. But here's the last key. God prospers me not to raise my standard of living, but to raise my standard of giving. Mm. God gives us more money than we need so we can give generously. So when you think about this, when you think about the opportunity of the treasure principle, where are you putting your treasures? Now, in the planning world, we've talked about this today. We've talked about this opportunity we have where we can plan with a purpose, where we're stewards, we're the manager. And when we do things with intent, we have an opportunity to make a greater impact. And really, that's what we're talking about here. So get your free book.
Absolutely.
It's easy read. We've said this a couple times. And we're going to start doing more things like this because we're going to practice what we preach. Right, Joni?
Well, we need to because, we also have kids. So it's about, it's really about being an example. And so I need to be an example not only for my clients, but for my children. And, potentially at some point I'll have grandchildren. You already do. So, that's the best. I mean, they listen to what we say, but they watch what we do. Right. And that has a greater impact. And I think that, in some of the volunteer things that I do, I've actually had some opportunities to have my son witness some of that kind of stuff and some of the comments that he makes, now that I was planning to talk about giving for November, one of the conversations we had, his comments back to me had greater impact on me because of the fact that I was talking about this giving. But, I'm an example to him. And so hopefully, he'll be doing some of the things that he needs to be doing to give back because, we're all blessed with what we have.
Yes, we are.
With whatever little you have or much that you have, it's still a blessing to have it.
Yeah. In fact, if you come to the office, we'll sit down, you'll be shocked at you're probably in the top 50 percentile of the income earners in this world. And, those of you who want to give anonymously, I made this note. I meant to give it earlier in the show, but we've got a great resource in an organization called the National Christian Foundation. And we had Bob Collins from the National Christian Foundation on the show several months ago. And he talks about the Donor Advised Fund. It's a great free tool that you can utilize to give anonymously to organizations. You can give your tithe at your church. There's a lot of things you can do. But we're going to put a link to that previous show. It's been several months. We'll have to go back in the archives. But if you'll hit our website, journeyswithjoni.com, there'll be a link to the show where Bob Collins was on and talked about the power of the Donor Advised Fund in putting you in a position where you can give. And as we come to the end of the year, I think this is important, and I know you have one thing you want to share here, but you may be in a position that you are extremely blessed, and you have an opportunity that your tax professionals or your planners have said, you need to give away a significant sum of money, and you're saying, man, I don't know who I'm going to give it to here at the end of the year. The Donor Advised Fund gives you the ability to put the money into the account, into the Donor Advised Fund, and recognize the tax benefit at that point in time. You can take 5 years, 3 years, 2 months to sprinkle that money out of that Donor Advised Fund to the organizations you want to impact. So you don't have to run around like a crazy person trying to go, where am I going to give this money to? I got to get rid of it by the end of the year or I'm going to pay taxes. You can put it in a Donor Advised Fund and make an impact. So a lot of good stuff.
Absolutely.
Jump on the website, order your free book. We're giving it to you. We even pay the postage. No strings attached. So jump on there and get your book, The Treasure Principle by Randy Alcorn. And Joni, I know you've got a parting thought that you want to get out here before we wrap this great show up. I'm having too much fun.
Yeah, you are. You're on a roll. Oh, my goodness. Aren't we glad you're in studio today? Well, we're supposed to look after the needs of others in the world who are hurting. We're Americans. We are blessed. So that is why giving is important to the needy. The reason giving is important to those of us who are full, warm, and safe is because it changes our perspective and it opens our hand and our hearts. So think about that this week. Journeys with Joni, that's joni.com, 361-1484. Journeys with Joni. We'll be back next week.
This program is for informational and educational purposes only. This program is not a solicitation or recommendation for any investment or security. Investments or securities mentioned in this show may or may not be owned by NEPSIS Advisor Services. NEPSIS Advisor Services is an SEC registered investment advisor.